The weakness of every Kwami in Miraculous Ladybug. Starting with Tikki, the creation Kwami, she can create anything to win. Her power is linked to luck, and with it, you can spawn anything that you want. But the greatest weakness of this power is that in the first place, Ladybug has to say it out loud the name of her skill. But as far as we have seen, all the other Kwami's powers have the same condition, like Mirage, Venom, and many others. And this is a weakness that was explored in the silencer. Besides that, the charm can be blocked, like in intuition, when the object was destroyed as soon as it was used, or like in the region, where it was transformed into something useless. So, although it is one of the strongest miraculous, Marinette needs to be careful while using it. Going against Daisy, it's good to fight along someone else, differently of the acclimatization. The effect person can't just negate the power, since we all have desired and can't run away from them. But the power is just a daydream. If you are near someone and this person calls you, you will awake for sure. And of course, the ego would be able to wake you up, since her power can break off the physical and the mind control of any kind. With Plagg, things are a little bit different. There are some fears while using the catechism, even more if Plagg is without an owner, as the destruction becomes unlimited. But in order to destruct something, the object must in fact exist and be touched by Cat Noir. But there are things that are abstract, as they exist, but just as concepts. For example, we have feelings, they can't be touched. Therefore, feelings can't be indeed destroyed, they just get angrier. The worst enemy to Cat Noir would be Ryukomori. He could try to cataclysm her, but he would go through her. Bark is very underestimated, but his power proved to be useful in the ending of the 4th season, and it doesn't seem to have many limitations other than the user having to make contact to the object at least once in order for the magic to happen. Therefore, Shelter would be his main weakness, since it would prevent this contact and would maintain the need distance too. But Voyage and Illusion could be nice distracting factors to this power. Fighting against the Fox Miraculous could be an easy simple task, at least that's what we think. Mirage proved to be a very efficient power. Every time that it's used, it is essential to solve or cause the main problem of the episode. Vulpina and the Meteor, Rena Rouge and the Sepides, Gabriel and his plan in Illusion, and Alia saving herself in Senti-bubble. This miraculous prove itself, but it only takes one single touch and everything goes down. That's why she needs to use it carefully. Since a single leaf fall over the Mirage, everything breaks off. She needs to be careful and smart to use it. As Oracle explained at the start of the season 5, his weakness are his limitations. He can't go against the rules of his guardians. He can't mimic other miraculous powers, like the power to travel time or the power to create illusions. And he can't have absolute power to change reality. Thank God, right? Otherwise, the show wouldn't have reasons to continue existing, since he would be the most powerful miraculous. But apart from that, he could be the weakness of all other Kwamis, since he could just choose a power that negated the other Kwami's powers. Pollen suffers the same problem as Plagg. She needs to touch the opponent in order to stop it. But something that makes the power even harder to use is that she needs to be close to the opponent in order to hit it, meaning that she could be good against close combat enemies, like most of the acclimatized, but she would struggle against long-range enemies like Roger Cop and Bufana. If we stop to think about it, Light Eye, the Truth's Senti-monster, has the same ability as Pollen, but doesn't have the same weakness as her. Chubu, the Monkey Kwami, has the Vision as his power, but although it is used in short and medium distance, this puts its user in danger, since if their toy is used against him, he would still be affected. Against close combat fighters, he could be used used more as a tool than a support. Besides that, in the region, it is pretty easy for Ladybug to just detransform and transform again, so she could generate another charm, not being stopped by the power again. Speaking of power levels, Wayzz should be in last, because let's be honest, it's by far the easiest power to overcome, since everyone in the show can break its shields, from Cataclysm to Hawkmoth Senti-monster, dinosaurs, a ball, and Cat Noir's bat. So it isn't like unbreakable. Apart from breaking, Cox's Voyage can easily bring someone in or out of the shield, since the teleport doesn't have limitations. Even it is partially, like Monarch in Intuition passing his hand through the portal trying to catch Cat Noir's ring. Ziggy can be compared to Tikki, since both Kwamis can create stuff, so they have the same weakness. Plagg is the biggest threat against the Genesis, since he can destroy anything that is created without breaking the sweat. And differently from the creation, we don't know if Genesis can adapt in different situations, but probably not, since it creates the object that the user wants, knowing that the intuition power can be really efficient in this situation, since it would also know what would come next. Nooroo also has two main weaknesses, the emotions and the will of people. The emotions because if the person doesn't have any negative emotions, she won't transform. This happened before, with Akuma's going away after the person simply having other emotions. Not only that, the person can deny the transformation by trying to calm down, like Miss Bossier did. It can be hard to deny the acclimatizations, but some people did it, and that involves the will of the person. Monarch can control anyone's will, so much that he promises to give the acclimatized person whatever it wants if it can give him the Kwamis. But if the person wants, it can question him and even break the connection, just like the Pharaoh made in Reunion. Hawkmoth could be worse at the start of the show, when he was able to cause pain, like when he did it in Evolustrator, but this power of his was forgotten, being another weakness to him. Voyage was the most used power by Monarch, because, well, it's pretty good to be able to travel anywhere you want in matter of minutes. For sure, you wouldn't be late for school, but you need to be careful in two circumstances. First, you need to know where you will go. As far as you know, the owner always chooses its destiny, but how specified is this location? I could think of going to Paris, and Voyage would travel me anywhere in Paris, being besides the Eiffel Tower or in middle of traffic. Secondly, the physical space available. In Ephemeral, the Pegasus wouldn't fit inside its safe. This way, he wasn't able to teleport there. Duzu seems to solve Nooroo's problem, since they can create beings with their own emotions and wills, like in the episode Ladybug, but the creator has full control of the creation. Although we have a weakness here, and that's the case where someone takes control of the Senti-monster and starts to control it. Of course, the original creator can just undo it. Another possibly is attachment, that we saw in Emotion. Felix suffered a lot to undo some Senti-monster and even cried, so much that he had to get rid of the Red Moon. And that's why Gabriel never could punish Adrian properly, since he was so attached to his son, even though it doesn't seem like it with certain attitudes taking place. The intuition power has one main weakness: 5 minutes. Independently of how much time you come back in time, you can only come back 5 minutes. So you need to be really smart to know exactly when to use this power. Besides that, if the user is immobilized, he might just give up in the time travel. Besides that, Tikki is the worst enemy to Cess, if we consider that the charm will always adapt no mattering how many times you come back in time, which caused a lot of hate in the episode Intuition. The most miraculous may have an underestimated power, as we have seen earlier. The owner can get smaller and smaller each time it multiplies. It could be different, like with the Sepidis, infinity copies of the same size. It can be a weakness depending of who are you against. Imagine multiple Minnie Mouses against a giant reflection. intellect though, it wouldn't be so useful. Monarch himself run away from mouses in an illusion because of their size. It becomes unfair to talk about Stumpy, since his powers is resistance even against cataclysm, and can be considered the absolute defense against every other Kwami in this list. But there is the secret of his weakness. His power protects him against magical powers, like cataclysm, some charm, and probably powers like venom or even akumatization, but it doesn't affect against physical damage. The owner can take punches and kicks. So against close combat villains that fight well like Anansi, Minotaurus wouldn't stand a chance and wouldn't be very helpful. Long incarnates his concept, perfection. He doesn't show any weakness. He's even superior to other Miraculous by having 3 different powers and only has to worry about the transformation after, and only after using the 3 elements. It's too OP. But water, thunder, and wind are weak against what exactly? The biggest danger that Ryuko has is her impulsivity, since she doesn't wait for no one. But that is her characteristic and not her powers. But villains like Reverser could have some advantage, since it would leave her unable to truly fight. Roar has an explosion for his power, Clout. When used in Season 5, it was really smart, since villains like Glaciator and Kolki can cause explosions at distance. But when it is used by Purple Tigress, she must hit her target close by. No matter how used, one thing is for sure, whoever uses must hit the target from up close. So who knows, illusions are the best way to face the Clout, since the owner would miss, and count on a second change wouldn't be that bad also. The rabbit hole might be the most dangerous Kwami, but it is also the most fragile. For starters, we have to consider the madness that a person can acquire traveling through many different and equal realities, where to locate yourself. But the timeline is also a danger. Travel to the past is never safe, and even when Marinette uses the Miraculous at the end of the 4th season, she gets too afraid that this could be the last alternative, when every other plan was failed. A small change in the past can destroy the future. That's what we call the butterfly effect. And these are the weaknesses of every Kwami in Miraculous box. Some of them are hard to counter, but with a proper strategy, nothing is impossible. Thanks a lot for watching till here, and hasta la vista!